Welcome into Tri-State Tailgate here for another great episode number 6 that we're putting on the docket today. Super excited. Hope everybody had a great Easter and a happy Resurrection Sunday. Hope everybody had a great day so far. You know, we record these on Sunday afternoons. May not go out on Sunday afternoons, but we try to get it out just as fast as we can. But that's something we want to talk about today. So we're actually talking about going live on our 10th episode. It's going to be May 2nd. May 3rd. May 3rd, our 10th episode. We are going to do Tri-State Tailgate live right here, streaming on YouTube. We're going to try to stream it on Facebook and on TikTok. We unlocked the ability to go live on TikTok this week, I think, with a video that just exploded. Had over 6,000 views, guys. 6,000 views, over 100 likes. We can't thank the community enough for getting our word out and doing all those things. And that's something also that we'd like to talk about. So, Chunk, James, raise your hand, son. Right there. Right there. He don't want to raise it, but he has said that if we get 1,000 subscribers on Facebook, on YouTube, and TikTok separately, has to be separately, by May 3rd, when we go live, this man said he would shave his head. Now, he may end up divorced, but he said he would shave his head.
But he said it's worth it.
And we had to talk him out of shaving the eyebrows and the beard. So he was talking
against
about
my
all
will. This is against my will.
He said he would do it. I said, don't let me say it unless you're going to do it. So look at him. He's nervous. So if you guys can do it, get on there, like, share, subscribe. Everybody subscribe. I want to shave his head. First, he's sweating now. He is sweating now. So that's going to be fun. But if you guys can do it, man, we want to grow this channel. And Chunk thought of a fun way that it may happen. We don't know. I mean, I told him, I said, dude, it's about a 50-50 shot. You put something out on the internet, a little task, they may just do it. So, but we may end up doing that on our first live episode. But just kidding aside today, and now it's not a joke. He said he'd do it, but may have to hold him down. Mike, show the muscles, man. You'll hold him down, right?
See, I don't understand. I don't understand the big deal. I did it at 30, son. I mean, I'm already there at 30. We got 30 subscribers. I said, I'm just getting rid of it.
He's uncommitted. Yeah.
So you don't want to ask me what I'll do for 1,000.
Oh, no.
He's cheap entertainment right there. That's cheap entertainment.
Yeah, and then you can see me and Mike also went down the beard. This guy sent us a picture of AI, looked just like he had shaved it, and I was like, man, did you do that really? But this will not be AI. There's no way out of it. We get 1,000 subscribers on each of our platforms, that man's going bald. So be ready.
We shave it live.
It'll be fun. We shave it live.
Shave it live.
That's gonna be fun, man. But man, I can't wait to get a part of this episode too. What we're gonna talk about here tonight, I kind of talked to you guys a little bit earlier, but I think I want to start off with us talking about, something that changed college football forever. Really, two things that changed college football forever is NIL and the transfer portal. And they talk about what happened first, the chicken or the egg, or for every yin, you have a yang, all those things. It seems like they've all worked together. But, man, on this topic here, what is your guys' thoughts on what changed college football forever? Was it the transfer portal? Was it NIL? What's your guys' opinion? We'll start with Mike tonight. What do you think about it, Mike? What's your initial thoughts on that, good buddy?
Well, to me, it almost seemed like those two went hand in hand, almost like they were simultaneous, where you didn't have to wait a year after you transfer, but you also could get paid by this other school and come in and start year one. So to me, it almost seemed like it went hand in hand, but I think the NIL for sure has changed the entire landscape of college football. And we've hinted on it before that it just seemed like it made all the coaches, some of the coaches coach differently. Some of the coaches just do things differently altogether. And it even made Nick Saban didn't know what to do. It's almost like he didn't like the way that college football was going. Rightfully so. Everybody can say what they want to say. As a Georgia fan, I'm going to say I have the utmost respect for Nick Saban. I really do. And I don't know if any of these rumors or this crap is true that he paid players or any of that in his tenure at Alabama. But he said he didn't like the way things were going when kids would not talk about development and they wouldn't talk about how I can grow coming to Alabama. They didn't talk about that anymore. All they said is, how much money are you going to pay me? And when it got to that point, he said, I'm just out of here, honestly. And that's how I feel about a lot of these coaches feel that way, man. Like, I know Kirby Smart is kind of on the same thing when he's just talking about roster retention and all this stuff. And he had a battle to keep Nate Frazier on his roster just this past year. I don't know if you guys noticed that or saw that, where Ohio State was coming and trying to pluck our starting running back out of our team. But we ended up keeping Nate Frazier, thankfully, but it was about money. Yeah. But and that's selling Nate Frazier short as well. And I don't mean to do that, because Nate Frazier, I think, is a dog. He is a dog, and he's always going to be, and he's really passionate about Georgia. But he even come out and said that too, that, hey, I know there were rumors about that, but I was never going to leave Georgia. We had a little bit of a contract renegotiating thing with Kirby and some guys, but I wasn't ever going to leave Georgia. But, yeah, man, that's just the battle. These coaches, I think it really factors in for the coaches more than it does the players. Obviously, the players are getting paid, and I agree with that. I thought they should have been. I agree that they should be getting paid, but to me, it's almost like we're getting into a bidding war almost, where it's not about relationships anymore with the coaches and the staff, or do you want a home at Georgia that you can come back to, or a home at Tennessee, or a home at Alabama. Like Chunk just posted recently about that. I think it's a cornerback. What's his first name? Something Hood.
Colton Hood.
Colton Hood. He posted about how Tennessee is a home. Like that's his home. That's where he wants to be. And that's really a cool thing to look at when you got guys that are wanting to commit to a team based on that, and not just how much NIL dollars they're going to get.
Yeah. What do you think about it, Chunk, man? What do you think about what's your take? Is it the transfer portal, or is it NIL on your end, buddy, that really changed college football?
Well, man, I got to say it all started with the NIL. You know, all these players want now, let's just be honest, they want that money, man. They want a bag. They want to make a bag, you know, a McDonald's bag full of cash. Chick-fil-A bag, whatever you want to call it, you know, and this has been going on secretly. There's no telling how long this has been going on. You know, players been getting paid under the table. NCAA doesn't know about it, but I'm going to say the NIL is what started all this transgressing or transitioning up to the transfer portal, man. But if you guys remember back in 2006, it was Reggie Bush. Remember, you know, they stripped his Heisman because he got caught, you know, selling memorabilia and stuff. Like, I think it was, I don't know how much it was, but they forfeited his Heisman, and then they had to give it back to him in 2024?
I think so.
After all the NIL, you know, rules changed. But then you think about Todd Gurley too. Remember Todd Gurley? He got caught back in 2014. He sold like $3,000 worth or more. I mean, there's no telling how much. It was way more than that. I guarantee it. But and then that's when the NCAA had to establish or create that the Todd Gurley bill. Remember that? And then they turn around and make the guy repay a portion of that back, and then the guy had to do 40 hours of community service for it. I mean, this is just, I mean, it's unreal how the NIL has changed college football, and just when you get money involved, man, it's turning it into pro football, you know. And nobody, I mean, yeah, I love pro football, don't get me wrong. But, man, college is where my heart is. I love some, you know, young guys out there, man, playing their heart out, you know. But, I mean, it's turning into pro football, and it's taking the fun out of it away, you know. And then about the transfer portal, man, just there's no commitment anymore, guys. I mean, you just jump from from team to team to team, just because, hey, I'm going to give you, $1 million more than what this other team, hey, you sign on the dotted line, make a commitment. I mean, make a commitment to yourself, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
Well, personally, I think more of the transfer portal has changed everything, because Ed Orgeron said it best. I believe he was on the next, not the next round, Busting with the Boys maybe. And when he got out of coaching, back in when it was 2021 or 2022 with LSU, well, he's talking about coming back. And he said, I'll go back into coaching. And people ask me, how are you going to adapt to paying players and the new age of college ball? He said, well, back then we was paying them in the back door. Now we get to walk the cash in the front door. So that's just the way it was. They've always done it. Now, like an example would be if you had a player on your team, okay, you may not have been writing them a check personally, but you can say, hey, man, why don't you go mow my yard, and tell me what you think. Tell me what you think it's worth. It'd be like maybe a 30 by 30 piece of grass. And they say, well, that's about $3,500 right there, So, I mean, stuff like that. They've done it. Yeah, I mean, name your price. I mean, you're technically working. So, I mean, they've done that stuff for years, man. But to me, the transfer portal is what has really changed college football. Because, like I said, you can say it's 1-2, they've always been playing players. Maybe not to the extent of what they're doing now. Maybe not the millions of dollars that they're doing now, because you couldn't get away with that. I mean, people would notice that. But the transfer portal, to me, like you just said, Sean, takes the commitment out of it. We had a player in Isaiah Horton come in this year. He was a great player for us. Great player. Now, maybe he got lured by the NIL that he was going to go to A&M, but I just don't like that he came in, was probably our number 2 receiver. I mean, Ryan Williams did not have a great year this past year. Maybe he's going to step up this year. But last year he didn't have a great year. So behind Jaron Bernard, it was Isaiah Horton that was our next top receiver. Well, he's coming back this year. Oh, man, I'm excited about Isaiah Horton. I'm excited about he's coming back. Next thing I know, he's transferring to A&M. I mean, gone. And it's just no commitment. I mean, you don't even know who's going to be in your team, like we talked about a couple weeks ago with these recruits. I mean, we love these freshmen coming in. We love this freshman class going to maybe top ranked number 5 in the country. They may not even be on your team next year. I mean, that's how much the transfer portal, to me, impacts college football, because you've got it where you can just go anytime you want to. Now, maybe I think Trump signed some kind of executive deal, or things are happening, are way above our pay grade, but things are happening in college football, and I think it's about to change. But right now, with the way it's constructed, transfer portal to me has just about ruined college football, because you can just go when you want to, do what you want to. The commitment's out the door. None of it. The NIL, I'm all about players getting paid. I mean, I'm all about it too, Mike. I mean, they deserve it. I mean, it was crazy to me. I was thinking about this, when I went down to Atlanta in 2021. That was when the NIL started. I think it was June of 2021. And we were going to go down there and play Miami. Me and my dad, one of the only games we ever went to together. We're standing there at the door, and a guy had brought it up behind us. We started talking, and I told my dad, I said, yeah, Bryce Young's our quarterback, has never thrown a pass as a starter and is making 7 figures. Yeah. I mean, that's how much NIL was doing. I mean, you're going and making $1 million before you even throw a pass, a meaningful pass. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So NIL definitely has changed it, yes. But my thing more or less is the commitment part of it, where you can just come in for a year and go. I just don't like that aspect.
Well, maybe you guys will know this, and I'll bounce this question off of y'all, but what happened to the rule where when you transfer to another school, you have to forfeit that following season? You basically just sit out a season until that next season. Like you lose an entire season of almost, I guess, eligibility even. I don't know if it's eligible. I don't know how that works, but if you would lose an eligibility year, but did that go hand in hand?
Well, if you remember like Joe Burrow, for instance, he was a grad transfer. He stayed his whole time in Ohio State and then went to LSU as a grad transfer. And you could do that. But I think back in 2018 or somewhere in that range, that's when you really started to hear about the transfer portal, because that right there, what you're saying, got taken off of it. And then it was, well, you're gonna start doing it. You got to sit out a year. There was something about Justin Fields doing it. You could go and it was just for every reason you could find that you would say, well, you need to sit out a year. Well, no, because this coach left or this happened. So NCAA just put their hands up and was getting sued everywhere they could look. So it just
the transfer portal more or less happened first. Then I guess the transfer portal window happened where you can transfer and pretty much start that next year, and then the NIL happened where these guys are like, hey, if you want to transfer here and make way more money and also start, you can do that. And now it's just all it almost looks to me like college football is a minor league, like the baseball has a minor league baseball. So to me, it almost looks like we have a minor league NFL where these guys are making a substantial amount of money before they go into the NFL, and in some cases making more money than they would make in their rookie deal. So,
well, I guarantee if they brought that back, you would see a lot more commitment from these guys. They had to set out a year.
Yeah.
I mean, gee.
Well, the biggest thing too, if you guys, when you're talking about that, Michael, with the major league or the, little NFL, well, in the NFL and the MLB, all these, well, I don't know about the MLB, but I know in the NFL, the difference in free agency is that you have a salary cap. In the NCAA, but you ain't got no cap. There's no cap.
Well, that's like Chunk's in our group. Chunk just sent to our group not long ago that LSU has dropped $40 million on this upcoming year. So, my God, you talk about a salary cap, you can go out and get whoever you want. So if Lane Kiffin isn't competing year one, what was your excuse? You got $40 million. That's probably triple. That's probably triple what a lot of other programs have spent on their year.
Yeah, well, that's right, and that's the difference when you got Texas A&M, they got that oil money and just money to go. And like we talked about, I was talking with Alex today, Alex Bryant, and I was telling him, I said, man, if Sark don't prove it this year, them people are all in. I don't know how much money they've thrown at that team, but even Sark himself, this is the most talent we've ever had, and it's like they're all in. And so when they don't, and when it comes back to maybe they got a few losses they shouldn't have, and we're not competing for the national title, buddy, he'd be up and out of there.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now, that's what I was telling you. And it's because of the money that these boosters are paying.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's it.
You won't return on investment. If you ain't getting that, then
imagine being a booster. Imagine being a booster and just, investing buku's amount of money that we wouldn't even think about seeing in our lifetime. They're putting into a college football team, and you're like, I want to see something out of that. Yeah. You don't invest stock into stuff and not get anything out of it. You would be pretty ticked off, and you would eventually say, hey, I'm not investing anymore. And then they would say, well, Steve Sarkisian wasn't the answer. I want you to keep investing, but we're going to go get somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to bring Nick Saban out of retirement to come to Texas.
Like you can just buy wins now, just
you're
buy
right.
wins.
Yeah. And that's why it's so weird in this almost, you got a national football league. And then you have a minor national football league, in my opinion. And Jerry Jones said it best, man. He said he would put up an ungodly amount of money to win the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. He said, I would put up money that you wouldn't even expect an NFL team to put up to win a Super Bowl. And Texas is after that. LSU is after that. Everybody else, and they're all putting a dollar figure out there saying, hey, I want this to bring me home a national championship that our team hasn't seen in a long time. Longer for Texas, I guess, because I don't know how long it's been for them, 2006 or something. But
2005. But I'll tell you right now, the worst thing to happen to college football. Let me tell you right now in full color, the worst thing to ever happen to college football is Indiana win a national title. We're going to say if they can do it, we can do it. It's exactly what's going to happen.
And did they even have the money? I don't know if Indiana even had the money back in that team the way that LSU and Texas has.
Okay, they had the largest living alumni base in the country, so that's one. And they got the guy off Shark Tank. What's his name? He owned the NBA team. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but he owned the NBA team. He just Dallas Mavericks. He sold them just now. But yes, look him up, man. But yes, that's
Mark Cuban. Is it Mark Cuban?
Yes. That's it. He's an alumni of Indiana. Now he says he didn't give him a bunch of money, but Okay, look, we know what you did. All right,
Yeah.
we know what you did.
They definitely gave him some money.
But I'm telling you guys, that's the worst thing that could have happened to football, because now you're going to say, well, if Indiana can do it, why can't we do it? So you're not going to be given that long leash no more, buddy.
Yeah, why can't a powerhouse do it?
Yeah, we need time to get these players right. We need time to get our system in. Oh no,
Well,
Indiana did it 2 years.
And if I'm being completely honest, that's what worries me a little bit about Georgia, because Kirby Smart's been on this. I mean, every conference he has, he's been on this roster retention, and that's great. But if the roster you just retained hasn't grew enough to get past the Sugar Bowl in the playoffs, then what did that do for us?
Yeah.
So that worries me a little bit. And I know that they have. I mean, Kirby Smart's, in my opinion, one of the greatest college football coaches in Georgia history for sure. He probably takes the cake from Vince Dooley. In college football history, I'd say for two, but in Georgia history for sure. Not to disrespect anybody else, because there's a lot of great names out there that you can mention. But to me, man, it's almost like roster retention may mean something, but how much does it mean if you're not winning national championships?
Yeah, you're right.
So,
you're right. And I tell you, somebody that could talk about it too is old Chunk there with what happened just a year ago with brother Nico. Nico that came in and he was like, I want more money, but really I think the coaches were all like, well, what did you do to earn that?
Yeah.
Yes, we went to a playoff, but I don't think he was the reason we went. It was behind a great defense, a great running game.
Man, he was talking crap before they even made it to Ohio State. Like he wasn't going to play in that game if he didn't get paid. So for me, man, I don't know. That kind of attitude I don't really like, but I don't think.
What did you think about
all I can say is Tennessee better open up their wallet, man, and start forking out the money, man. I mean, come on, man. We got to start paying these players. We got to, get up to par here, guys.
Yeah, and that's most teams in college football right now. But Tennessee, it's like they want to achieve something so badly that they haven't achieved in nearly 30 years almost. And that's a fan base like Alabama and Georgia both are separated. Georgia hasn't won a national championship in 3 years. And I'm very thankful to say that. I am thankful that Kirby Smart went out there and won the back-to-back. Alabama hasn't won one in 5 to 6 years. LSU hasn't won one in 7 years, I guess. Yeah. So it's like everybody's time that they've won one has just went down a little bit. And Texas is kind of in that same boat, and Tennessee too. Texas has won one, I guess, since then. But a lot of fan bases, man, are wanting something to come out of this season. But everybody is in that same boat of how are we doing with our NIL money? Because that's what wins it now.
We're way overdue, guys. I mean, come on.
Well, you may think about Georgia went what? Yeah, well, Georgia went since before you won that title in 21. What was it? 40 years?
40 years. It was 1980.
Yeah. 1980. Yeah, 41 years.
It's coming. Yeah,
it's coming. Won it. Maybe next year, right, Chunk? Say it.
And really, it was the first one. It was the first one in my lifetime. It was the first national championship in my lifetime. So, of course, I was absolutely ecstatic to see it. And I would have loved for Kirby for his after his back-to-back for that have been his third, because really his second year as Georgia's head coach, he had a really good shot at it, but just fell short. But yeah, man, that's what everybody wants. And Kirby can kind of hang his hat on doing that back-to-back. Almost nobody's done that in the college football playoff era. So
yeah, you're right. Well, it's a little different. I mean, I really think back to the time whenever you got the biggest thing that set the transfer portal off to me, if you guys remember back to when it started to be like a big deal, was if you remember back to 2018. 2018, I know it's a long time ago, but it was 2018. And you had Kelly Bryant. If you remember that guy's name, he was the quarterback at Clemson. Okay. Him and Trevor Lawrence were in a battle for the starting QB. Well, do you know what happened mid-season whenever Trevor Lawrence took the job? Kelly Bryant sat out. He said, I'm done. I'm not wasting my year. I'm done. That just took the commitment like we've been talking about here, guys. It took it out of it. It took the commitment to your team, but you had another guy on a top ranked team that they beat that year, and Jalen Hurts, that stayed the course. And then when you guys remember the SEC title game, we played Georgia. Tua got hurt. Who came in? Jalen Hurts. Ended up winning that game. So when you got these kids these guys, I can't say kids, but these guys that come in and they say, well, I'm going to go. But, man, if you would just wait, your opportunity will come. I think it was Gary Danielson that said it on the call. He said sometimes the game finds you. When you're committed to a team, when you stay the course, when you do everything right, sometimes the game will find you. So don't go out looking for maybe the best thing, because I've said it before preaching that sometimes that when you say the grass is green on the other side, it's a lot of times because it's built upon a septic tank. It's built upon field lines. That's why the grass is greener. It's not greener over there because it's good.
Come on, guys.
It's because it's built on field. So. Amen, Chunk. Amen.
Amen. Come on. Preach it, brother.
It's true. It's true that these guys, they look for something better, always looking for the next thing. But, man, just be happy where you are, and you don't know when your time will come. Yeah, I mean, if you're good enough, the game, the coach, you can't deny talent. So you're going to get in those games. But just stay the course, develop, because you got some of these guys that bounce every single year. Before you know it, you're out of eligibility. And then what are you going to do? I ain't going pro. That was your aspiration. But if you would just stayed where your team was in the beginning, you would have already been playing. You would have had your chance, your opportunity. But you can't be jumping ship to ship, And
that's got to hurt them. What am I trying to say? The recruit, guys.
The draft.
When they get the draft, it's got to hurt their numbers. Jumping from team to team to team. I mean, if you're not willing to develop,
committed.
Come on. Yeah, and be committed,
We need you to be committed to this team. And you can show it best by staying with the team that you're at. So,
right.
You're exactly right, guys.
Well, even most recently with Carson Beck transferring out of Georgia, which it was Gunnar Stockton's time. I understand he left, and he didn't leave on any bad terms. And I feel like he kind of put that into perspective during his draft press conference when he said that he doesn't have any hatred for Georgia. He loves Kirby Smart. He loves Georgia, and he loves that program. But even Mario Cristobal kind of said, oh, you kind of see what a guy like Carson Beck can do with good coaching. And I'm like, good coaching? He did the exact same thing for you that he did for Georgia in every crucial game we were in. Every time we ever lost a nail biter, it ended in an interception when we really needed something else. So, I mean, and then you look at Miami's game, every game that they lost was that. It ended in that. So, I don't know. That's a good testament to that too, man. Maybe he should have just went on, but with this whole NIL deal, and we were just talking about that with Jalen Hurts, I guess that wasn't a factor then, but he still transferred out to Oklahoma. But now that we have this new day and age with NIL, and Carson Beck said, hey, why would I go on and go to pro when I got hurt? That's going to lower my draft stock. So he went on to Miami and made a ton of money to really just play football and enjoy Miami. He didn't have to worry about going to classes.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. He didn't. I mean, if you guys remember, he talked about I think he was taking online classes or whatever. But okay, come on,
they're gonna pass.
I wasn't born yesterday.
They're gonna say, "Oh, this is Carson Beck."
Yeah, I'm going to class. Yeah, I'm going to class. That's right. But yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, to wrap this little segment up here, man. I think both of them have changed college football. I don't know about for the better, but they have both changed college football so much, whether being able to transfer like you can and paying the players as much as they get. I mean, by all means. I mean, if you're going to buy a car, okay, you're going down the road and you see a car you really like, I mean, you'll give whatever you want to have that car. And that's the same way it is with NIL. You may not be exactly like worth that, but if the coach is willing to pay it, by all means, go get it. But like I say, you are what somebody's willing to pay for it. So go and get that money while you can. I hope at some point they put guardrails on both things where it's a little bit more equal. Everything in college football has always been equal. It's always been the same. So just make it the same. In the transfer
Gotta have
portal,
balance.
got to have balance, buddy. And like I said, the transfer portal, I hope it goes back to, I don't know if I want to say sit out a year, but there ought to be something, at least have like when you sign your national letter of intent to go to college, there ought to be at least a little bit of something like where you can't just bounce. And when you sign these NIL deals, that they're like it is in the NFL where it's a long-term agreement, unless it's specific reasons, like somebody back home gets sick or a coach that you are close to leaves, not just because I ain't playing, not just because I'm on the bench, something that's a real reason. That's what I think needs to happen going forward. So, but yeah, man, I think that's a great segment. And y'all got anything to say wrapping that up? Y'all ready to move on?
Well, I mean, I'll add this, but I'll say this real quick. And also I thought about it, man, these guys are making the money too. I mean, how easy is it for them to be like, hey, I'm making a bag so I can be hurt, just sit down on the bench, still make the same amount of money. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is they get soft. It's not, to me, this is my opinion now. To me, it's not like hard-nosed football anymore, guys. It's like, hey, I can go to my dorm room. I can go to my, well, not dorm room now. Probably they got houses, mansions now, but mansions. I can go play. I can go play Fortnite, not have to worry about, putting the hard work, the practice in. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's becoming too easy to these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're right. That's a great point, buddy.
That's the thing with all of this stuff, and we can go on and on about this whole NIL stuff and the way that the day and age that we're in with college football, man. But I don't know. I do hope that there's something out there that kind of puts a cap on it. But a lot of the Big Ten guys and a lot of the other conferences, they'll come at the SEC and say, well, look at how well the SEC's done since NIL has been put into place. The SEC hasn't done anything since the NIL was put into place. It kind of insinuating that all we've ever done is pay players and stuff, which is just crap. But I don't know. That's what they think. They think that now that they said it's a level playing field, but in reality it's not. When this is an SEC school that I'm kind of going after here, but you've got LSU paying as much money as they possibly can muster up for their roster this coming year. And there's probably not even teams in the Big Ten that are paying that kind of money. So I agree with you guys. I think that's definitely something that needs to be addressed, where it's a level playing field. You have some sort of roster cap on your team, because there is nothing like that now. So I think that's going to be our first step and maybe fixing this whole college football dilemma that we're in right now.
Yeah, that's right. And like Chunk said, just to back his point up a little bit, talking about how like it seems maybe they're getting a little soft. You back in the day, and I don't know, I wasn't ever a college athlete, but it's just in the way of thinking as a human, you would say, well, I'm not really going to get paid the big bucks till I get to college or get to the NFL. But let me tell you this right now. These college players want to stay in college because they're making more probably in 1 year. 1 year than what they will make. Like Ty Simpson. Let's just say like he was offered $6 million by Ole Miss and Tennessee, I think, to stay in college. Well, if he would have dropped out of the first round, but now like I think he's going to be a first-round pick. But let's say he doesn't. Let's say he falls out, goes second or third round. Well, he'll make in 1 year what he would probably make in 3 or 4 years at the NFL. Like Cam Scatterbo, he said after all of his – this came out this week. Cam Scatterbo, we know, is a great running back at Arizona State. He went to the NFL last year. Crazy, man. Somebody referred to me as him, I guess wide face. But anyway, but Cam Scatterbo, he said this year alone, his contract, I think after everything is taken out, he's only going to make $250,000. Wow, I mean, that's really no money compared to what they're making in college. So like Diego Pavia, he just said, man, I'll stay till I'm 40. Hey, I'll come out and sling the rock till I'm 40 years old. Joey Aguilar, I'll stay and make the money because like Michael's saying, there's no cap now. So let's pay him whatever. And you'll make in 1 year what you make in 3 or 4 years' time on a rookie deal. With the NFL, you say, I'm looking for my next contract. Now it's just like, pay me what I can get right now. And that's for me what's changing the attitude of these players a little bit. making it where maybe it's like I'm not as hungry to get to the next level because, buddy, I'm making it all right now.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
but it's just that's just human nature. Now I'm just saying as a
Yeah.
thing, that's just human nature. But yeah, like I say, y'all got anything else to add to that one? Y'all ready to move on to our next segment?
I think that sums it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, hey, so our next segment is going to be a little bit of talking about now. Okay, if you come back to this video and you're looking at in April, okay, of 2026, we're throwing this out now. Josh Pate, somebody we all watch and like, and he kind of brought this up the other day that he had some picks of his top SEC quarterbacks entering in last year. I think he done that in August or maybe June of last year, and it looked horrible. So don't come back to this video if we're wrong. Only come back to this video if we're right. Okay?
There you go.
Don't bring it up if we're wrong. Only bring it up if we're right. So,
Don't bring up the past. Let the past be the past, guys.
yeah, bury it if it's wrong. So, but what we're going to talk about next is our top 5. So, in our opinion, now we don't all agree. That's okay. Sometimes it's good to disagree. But it's our top 5 quarterbacks entering into 2026. Now, there's going to be guys like, just as Alabama perspective, I'm expecting a lot out of Keelan Russell and Austin Mack. You can take either one of those however you want to. But I had a hard time leaving one of them off the list because it's got to know that they're going to be great as a Bama fan. But these are guys that have been proven. They're not first-year starters. They're guys that have started at least in the league, at least somewhat. I have one that's coming against the league, but he started a bunch of games. So these are our top 5 quarterbacks going into 2026. Guys that we think are going to make the biggest impact. And I guess we'll start at the top. You all can see it. We all did agree on the first one, and that's Trinidad Chamberlain. We all seen what he did against Georgia and what he did on a tear this year. And what's so crazy to think about, he wasn't even starting last year.
Yeah.
You begin the season, it's Austin Simmons at Missouri. He gets hurt. Austin Simmons now is at Missouri, but he was at Ole Miss last year. He got hurt. Then Trinidad comes in and, man, lights the world on fire. So he's went from somebody that's really unknown at a junior college level to now being our top-ranked quarterback in the SEC going into this year. So what do you guys think? And we'll start off with Chunk here, man. What's your ambitions for Trinidad and expectations, I should say, for Trinidad going into 2026? James, what do you think?
Well, buddy, just watching him play last year and going through that whole court debate about, getting that extra year to play and him winning that. So I'm thinking that, this coming season, buddy, he's got something to prove. If you check his stats from last season, he put up almost 4,000 yards. Passing, 22 touchdowns. The guy had like a 66% completion rate. Dude, that's Heisman numbers right there, guys. So I believe this guy, he's definitely got something to prove this year with what all he had to go through. So that's why I had to pick him, man, because he is definitely, in my opinion, the top talked about player this upcoming season. Is Trinidad. So
yeah.
Well, Alabama and Tennessee didn't play him last year. We know somebody that played him twice, and that's the Georgia Bulldogs. Michael, what do you think about Trinidad, man? I know we talked about, is he coming back? Is he not? But with it now being guaranteed that he's returning to Ole Miss, man, what's your thoughts on Trinidad, or some people call him, I think it's Pat McAfee calls him Winadad. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I think, as Pat McAfee says, that's a great nickname to have for the guy because, man, he's just really hard to stop on the field. I feel like he's just a really good and elite quarterback and really dual threat, in my opinion, because you had Dalen Everett as a corner running full blast at the guy in the Sugar Bowl and didn't make a play on him. And I love Dalen Everett. I love what he's done for Georgia and what he has done. He's going on to the draft now. But, man, he had a clear shot at Trinidad, where if he makes that stop that far back in towards the end zone, we may go into overtime and hopefully, I would think, win the game because Georgia's just really good at putting games away there. But, man, and to kind of hint on what Chunk said, the expectations for that guy has to be extremely high or through the roof at Ole Miss because they went through a lot to get his eligibility back for this year. And I mean, they went through a lot in court, and they probably paid the guy quite a bit of money because Lane Kiffin went after him. Mm-hmm. So, and there's not a judge in the state of LSU or in the state of Louisiana, I mean, that wouldn't have gave him that eligibility. Yeah. So, to me, man, I feel like he is probably the Heisman front runner to start the season. And I honestly think he's not only the best quarterback in the SEC, but maybe the nation.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely true. I mean, when we talk about, I don't know if I'm going to disrespect him not by saying this, but I don't know if he's going to translate on the next level. But man, for a college quarterback, it don't get no better than him.
Yeah.
Okay, he is explosive. He can make plays out of nowhere. He has like the Patrick Mahomes effect in the college. I mean, just makes plays. I mean, just like you're talking about Dalen Everett missing him and he hits a long pass down the field.
Yeah.
Or you got that huge, I mean, they're backed up. I think it's under a minute to go. And he makes that beautiful pass that gets him in field goal range to end the Sugar Bowl. I mean, just huge game on the line plays. He makes them. And that's what you want in a college quarterback. And sometimes it's like you don't want to risk it for the biscuit. But, man, he may risk it sometimes, but by God, he gets you that biscuit, So it's good. I mean, he is a great college quarterback. And him coming back, it really says a lot about Ole Miss because, I mean, I thought Ole Miss without Trinidad, this is how much he means to me. Without Trinidad is probably a 6-7 win team. With Trinidad being on the team, I don't see how they miss the playoffs. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's how big of a difference he makes with them. I mean, he changes that team entirely because of his playmaking ability, because when there's nothing there, he can make something out of it. His running ability, I mean, all those things. When you call about a college quarterback, he checks every box. Yeah. He just does. And to say, like Chunk was saying, threw for almost 4,000 yards, I brought up the point just a second ago, the man didn't even start. He didn't even start last year.
Which is crazy.
So, I mean, it's like, how good was Austin Simmons, I guess. But I mean, when he got his opportunity, like we talked about the transfer portal, he got his opportunity. He made the most of it. And now look at what he's going to do. He's going to reap the benefits of that. So
I think his first official SEC road start was against Georgia. And he gave Georgia everything they could handle. Georgia, they finally figured him out towards the end of the game and shut him down in the fourth quarter. And I was hoping that would translate over into the Sugar Bowl. And it did for the most part until the end of the game. It's almost like it flip-flopped on how that game went. But we beat them at home because we figured them out in the fourth quarter. But prior to the fourth quarter, they scored on every single drive. And Georgia scored on every single drive. The defense stayed at home that entire game. But to me, man, that's a quarterback that's very hard to stop. And you get a quarterback that's like that, and that's just a dual threat on every aspect. He can run the ball, and if he can't run the ball and he can elude a safety or a corner and then get the ball downfield because that safety or corner isn't where they need to be, that's a recipe for disaster for whatever defense he's about to play. So, man, I speak really highly of the guy because I know what he did to Georgia 2 times. And like I say, we beat him in the first game, but I don't know if they're going to beat him this upcoming season even. So I feel like that's going to be a really hard quarterback to stop. And that's why he's number 1 across the board for us as far as SEC quarterbacks coming back, because he's just that good. And we've all got him at number 1 for a reason.
Yeah.
Well, I was just looking at it too. Another thing is, I don't know how big of a deal it's going to make, but the person that was behind him was Lane Kiffin. Okay. So with him being gone, Pete Golding, you guys know he's an Alabama assistant, but he was a defensive coordinator at Ole Miss, and he now is head coach. So he's a defensive-minded head coach. So I'm sitting there thinking, well, like, is it going to change much on what he does offensively, like for Trinidad? Like, will this system be any different? But here it says that their offensive coordinator is John Baker, and he was offensive coordinator from at Ole Miss, or co-offensive coordinator, co-offensive coordinator, tight ends coach from 21 to 23. That's with Lane.
Under Joe Brady? Under Joe Brady?
I don't know if he was under Joe Brady. It says he went as offensive coordinator in 24 and 25 at Eastern Carolina. So he was in Eastern Carolina for 2 years, but he was hired on in December of 25. So during their playoff run, he was hired on as this upcoming year's offensive coordinator. So he had been there when Lane was there, so he knows kind of what Lane's plays were and what kind of stuff they like to run. So maybe he'll have that same mindset. But the only thing that could kind of push you tick and tack would be is the system going to be the exact same?
Yeah.
Is it going to be ran the exact same? That's the only thing that can hiccup. And
well, I'm not sure.
Sometimes don't mess up a good thing. Okay.
I'm not sure why I said. I don't know why I said Joe Brady. I meant Charlie Weiss Jr., who was there for the Georgia game. And Charlie Weiss Jr. said, I'm not going over to LSU before this game against Miami. And Trinidad had a great game there. They fell short of that win, but he had a great game against Miami. And I don't know. I feel like they're going to learn a lot from what Charlie Weiss Jr. was able to do there. And I don't know, man. He's just going to be a hard player to stop. He really is. And you guys not having Ole Miss, on y'all schedule this coming year is a good thing, because I feel like Georgia's really going to struggle with that game on the road. Yeah. Almost just as much probably as I feel like we're going to struggle going to Tuscaloosa. So, yeah. And for that reason, like you said, Adam, I feel like they're a 7-win, 8-win team maybe if Trinidad Chambliss isn't on the team. And that Ole Miss judge knew the same thing, and he wanted them to be really good. So he fought the NCAA as hard as he could to get them to keep them, because they may not be very good without them.
That's true, buddy. Well, I'm looking forward to old Trinidad. Winnidad is we're probably going to be calling him throughout the season, but if he's bringing it on home to Ole Miss, man, that's going to be important. But
you're looking forward to him until Alabama plays him. I tell you that.
or if you lose to him, he's going to be called Trinidaddy, because he's going to be your daddy.
Yeah, Trinidaddy. There you go. Jeez, there you go. Well, you'll say this. I love Alabama. It's my allegiance. It's my team. But I'm just a college football fan. So to see somebody be great, I love it. I love to see a greatness when it's on the field. I don't care who it is playing. Sometimes you just can't deny it. So to see Trinidad playing the way he did last year, man, it was just cool to see. He was really lighting the world on fire. So I'm excited for him. But somebody else you're looking at, and me and Michael agree on this number 2. Now, James had a little bit of a different outlook on this number 2 quarterback. But, you talk about – and we can start, I guess, with James. But why did you have – or give me your reason, Chunk, for having Arch Manning above Gunnar Stockton. What is your reason for that?
Okay, here's the thing. I was going to put Gunnar Stockton at 2, Michael. So I know that broke your heart there. But look, I've got to hang my hat on the Manning name, buddy. Oh, Uncle Peyton and Eli, he is a Manning, buddy. And we know Arch has wheels up underneath him, buddy. We know he's a dual threat quarterback. And this cat right here, dude, listen to his stats real quick. As a sophomore, this is a guy that waited his turn. Okay, he set out, waited his turn. Last year's stats, 3,100 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, 7 interceptions with a 61% completion rate. Does that that's pretty close to old Trinidaddy there. Arch Manning, buddy, he is a junior this coming year. But, man, this guy right here is one of those guys that, like I said before, he's got something to prove, just like Gunnar Stockton. He's going to come in here, start the 26th season, up under Steve Sarkisian and the rest of the team backing this guy. If he's got good guys surrounding him. So, he's going to be head hunting. This upcoming season, he is definitely going to play his best, I believe. Yeah. So that's the only reason why I put him over Gunnar Stockton now.
Well, and a good spinoff from that to me is where Adam has Arch Manning at number 5. So why I have him at 3. I really think that he's not. I think he's a great quarterback, and I think the later part of last season, the last 6 games of Arch Manning's season last year, he did really well. He really did. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. But let's jump over from that where Chunk has him at 2 and Adam has him at 5. Why do you have him below a guy like Marcel Reed and Byron Brown?
Just because I think of the old saying, doing more with less. I think both those quarterbacks there above him do more with less.
Yeah,
I think Arch has a lot around him. He has a lot around him. He has the coach and Sarkisian but I don't feel like he's unlocked everything yet. I feel like Byron Brown. I mean, I was looking at his stats, just kind of hopping around a little bit, but I was looking at Byron Brown's stats, and he had 3,100 yards, and he had I think it was that's wrong there, but anyway, he had 28 touchdowns to 7 interceptions compared to Arch. I think he said 26 to 7.
Yeah.
And then he also had 1,000 yards rushing. Now, we know Arch Manning can rush the ball. We talked about last week, man. Yeah. Superman over Sam Houston State, I mean, we know he can run the ball. But I think he's doing less with more. He has so much more around him. And I don't think in his spot he's living up to what he should. I don't think. I mean, that's what I see. I think that the guys above him, like Marcel Reed, man, just explosive. Explosive. And then you got Gunner that is I don't want to disregard what he is. And if he can play like he did in the Sugar Bowl, man, Georgia's going to do really good. But he is a quarterback that's more of a game manager. So the guys above him do more, I think, with less than what Arch has at number 5 with Texas. Now, you could probably put him higher because if he goes out and he has a great year, hey, I'm going to eat my words. But I put him at 5 based upon what he's done. And, last year, I mean, you think about it. He played Ohio State. They lost. He played Georgia. They lost. The only big game that really he showed up in was probably that either the Vanderbilt game or the A&M game. But that was only 2 that I could really hang my hat on saying, well, he played a high-level competition, and they ended up winning that game. So, I don't know. I really don't know if he's doing all he can be and being all he can be. So that's why I had him at number 5, just because I think Byron Brown coming from USF at number 4 is gonna have more damage in the conference to me. And like I said, he may be different. Arch and Byron Brown are different. Arch may translate more to the NFL, but Byron Brown at Auburn this year is going to be, like I said, with Trinidad, a great college quarterback. So Arch may not be the great college quarterback, but maybe when he gets to the NFL and he gets in the league and he's developed, differently in the NFL, maybe. Yeah. But right now, he's not doing it for me.
Yeah.
Right now, he's just not doing it for me. So, what do you guys talk about old Arch and Gunner Stockton, man? What's kind of because you guys have them flipped. So Arch is ahead on Chunk's list, Gunner's ahead on Michael's list. So, what's your guys' thoughts on the difference between Arch and Gunner there, Mike? What's your thing?
Well, I tell you, I can't, and maybe this is homerism, like you called it last week, I guess. But being a Georgia guy, I feel like you can give me Gunner Stockton over anybody else in the SEC. And as bad as this sounds, I guess I would say even you can give me Gunner Stockton over everybody except for Trinidad. That's why I have him at 1. I think Trinidad's a great quarterback, and I'd love to have a guy like Trinidad at Georgia eventually. But Gunner Stockton, man, there's no way I can factor what he's done and his resume over any of these other guys and put him lower on the list. I think Gunner Stockton is a quarterback that will just go out there, and we've talked about him before, will just lay his life on the line for Georgia to win that game. Not for Gunner Stockton to win that game, but for Georgia to win that game. And I think that's the biggest factor that a lot of teams are missing, a quarterback that's as selfless as Gunner Stockton is. So that's why I have him at number 1, man. I feel like he makes the big plays when you need him to. He made the big play against Tennessee at Tennessee with 100,000 fans going crazy. He made the big play that we needed him to make in a lot of those big-time games. So, man, that's why I have Gunner Stockton at number 2, and I feel like that's a reasonable place to put him under Trinidad because – and I hope I'm wrong. I hope you talked about us looking forward earlier before we started this segment, you talked about us looking forward and being like, oh, man, don't come back to this show. I hope I'm wrong about that. And people do come back to this show and thought, man, Trinidad Chambliss wasn't even close to the Gunnar Stockton level, and that he's just leaps and bounds better than that. That would be awesome. But yeah, man, I feel like Gunnar is just that guy. And if you gave me an option between him, Arch Manning, or any of these other guys I have on my list, say John Tier or John Mateer or Lenora Sellers, I definitely would take Gunnar over those guys.
Yeah. Well, that's what you hope, man. I mean, just hoping. This is a segment built upon hope.
Yeah.
This is a segment built upon what we think is going to happen. And now looking at it, I don't know if I agree with my number 3 pick anymore. I was just thinking the only reason I got Marcel Reed up here as high as I do at number 3, the only reason is because I watched and this cat was good but inconsistent last year. I'm thinking this year if he can become more consistent, that game that he had against LSU on the road that actually ended up being Brian Kelly's last game, he's the reason why. He is the reason why. I mean, they couldn't do nothing to stop him. He was playing lights out. I mean, he had a great game. He was elusive. He could run. He was throwing. I mean, doing great. And if he could play like that more and be that guy more this year, then he could be really good. I'm building him up based upon, like I just said, with hope. He has all the tools. All he's got to do is apply them. He can run like anybody. He has the arm talent to throw like anybody. He just got to get more consistent. Last year, he had 12 INTs, interceptions. You can't do that in SEC and win. You can't do that and expect to win big games. And when they went to Texas and they played Miami, 2 of their biggest games of the year, they lost them both, more or less because of inconsistency. Now, I give it to Marcel due to the win that was at that Miami game. That was crazy. But still, you've got to show up in those games. And if he can do that this year, like I said earlier, he's got Isaiah Horton coming in. He's going to have great talent around him. So if he can just take all the pieces, put them together, then I think he's gonna uphold this number 3 ranking on my end of how good he can be.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about him? Did y'all see anything out of him this year that makes you think that? Because I see neither of you guys even have him on the list.
Well, I debated who's going to be at my 5 spot, Lenora Sellers or Marcel Reeds, and I think that's why I put Lenora Sellers there, because I feel like you talked about earlier about having a guy that's just like more important in that position and not based on the guys he has around him. And I feel like Lenora Sellers, man, when he wasn't on the field, South Carolina really, really was hurting when he wasn't on there. And when he had the best games, South Carolina would be very successful with him. And that's a team Georgia has coming in this year. So I'm excited to see how Georgia can stop a guy like that, because he's almost like he reminds me a little bit of Trinidad and the things he can do on offense and the things he can do is just being able to run the ball or throw the ball. So that's a guy that I'm excited to see this year. And I hope that Georgia is able to can stop him, because he reminds me a lot of Trinidad, just in a maybe not as good, but.
Yeah, what do you think about him, Chunk? I mean, you don't have Marcel Reed nor Lenora Sellers. I don't know if you just playing favoritism or what, but what do you think?
I don't even know who Marcel Reed is. I mean, to be honest. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Dude, he's going to come back. He's going to come back to this podcast at the 58-minute mark and be like, this guy didn't know who I was.
I'll show them. They're going. Hey, they got Tennessee coming to their house, son. I'll show you.
He might show you who he is.
Well, I would put him at 5th, buddy. Marcel Reed, buddy. I feel like he's a player that's developing, like you said, Adam. And you're probably right. They'll probably beat us. But watching him play last year, I thought he done a pretty good job, buddy. I mean, so I would put him last, and just Lenora Sellers. I just don't know about him, buddy. No comment on him.
Well, they're both really good, but they're more. If you look on Chunk's list, you've got more of, to me, the more pocket guys in John Mateer and Son Levitt. Not saying they can't run, but that's the difference, I think, in what you've got to have in the SEC. Sometimes is the ability to run. I don't know if the day of the pocket passer is what it is with all the talent these teams have at defensive line and linebackers, and that you can really get out of the quarterback. That you have to have a guy back there sometimes that can make a play out of nothing. That can take and just make plays when there's not a play there. You got to have the difference maker, and that's what Lenore Sellers is. That's what Marcel Reed is. And
that's a guy like Chunk and I both have John Mateer, and I feel like he could be elusive at times, but maybe not as much as Sellers or Trinidad. But Chunk and I both have John Mateer at 4, and you don't have him on your list at all. So how do you feel about a guy like John Mateer? Do you not like him because you don't like Oklahoma?
Well, no. The only thing about John Mateer that kept him off on my list is there was a significant difference from beginning of year John Mateer to injury John Mateer.
I agree with that for sure.
So until I see the difference, I'm just scared to leave him on here just because you guys are right. He's a great running quarterback, but he's more like if it's 3rd and 4 and, I can get 4 yards, I'm going to do it. He's not the one that's going to, I don't think, get you for 80 yards, you know what I mean? Like these other guys can, but he's the one that can get that first down if it's needed. Yeah. He's that one that can skate the pocket and get you a few yards if you need them. He's that kind of quarterback. And under Oklahoma, if they can get a better running game around him and protect him more with offensive line, then yes, he could be very lethal. But I just put Byron Brown at number 4 in my spot. You guys have Oklahoma and John Mateer, but I put Byron Brown and Auburn there just based upon what maybe he's, like I said, done more with less. When he's done it at USF, and if he wasn't with Alex Golesh, he would not be on my list. But with Alex Golesh being his head coach and him bringing him over from USF, not having to change your offensive mind, not having to do a bunch of changing, and it's pretty much going to be the system you've been playing, the system we're going to have. So that's why he's so high. Yeah, plug and play. So that's why he's so high for me, and he's explosive too. That's what I guess I like on here. I guess is the explosivity of these players. That hey, when a play is not there, I can make it. Yeah. And you say, well, you had Gunnar Stockton on there. Yeah, but watch that Sugar Bowl, man. He was making plays out of nothing.
Yeah.
He was taking shot after shot and still making plays out of it. So you've got to have that in the SEC. And so these other quarterbacks like Sam Levitt and John Mateer, they weren't as high. And I'm not saying they're not like right there at 5, 6, 7, and 8, but they're just not right there in my top 5.
Well, see, speaking of Sam Levitt, like you just did, I feel like we've kind of went over every quarterback on all of our lists. We've hit on Arch Manning. I know Chunk and I both have Arch Manning a little higher than you do, but a quarterback we haven't really talked much about that is on James's list over here is Sam Levitt. How do you feel about him coming in at LSU?
Well, James? Hey, the reason why I put Sam on there, man, is he transferred from Arizona State going to LSU. Yeah. Wasn't he hurt last year, Adam? You mentioned something. Yeah. He tore an ACL, whatever. But I'm sure he's not practicing much. They're saving him for the games upcoming season. But the reason why I put him on there is LSU and that $40 million plus salary that he is surrounded by. And Sam Levitt is a good quarterback, and he's got greatness surrounded him. So that's the reason.
Well, that's a good point, and that is a really good point, man. And I agree with you because I feel like LSU and a great offensive mind, and we can talk all we want about Lane Kiffin and say, oh, he's not loyal to any program, he's not loyal to his wives or whatever, but and maybe that's all true. Maybe everything is all true, but if you talk about a guy that knows what he wants in a quarterback, he's going to go out and get that. So, I think I agree with you having Sam Levitt up there at all is a good thing because Lane Kiffin knows what he's doing, and he wouldn't have went and got a guy out of Arizona State if he didn't think he was going to fit their program. So, and maybe that isn't the guy he wanted. I'm sure he wanted Trinidad. I mean, who doesn't? Who doesn't want Trinidad Chambliss? That's why he's number 1 on our list. But Trinidad, and that's something we ought to take our hat off to Trinidad Chambliss for. That guy said, no, I'm staying at Ole Miss. I'm not going with you to LSU. Yep. So I kind of commend him for that.
Yes.
Let's look how much he was getting paid, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we say commend him. We say commend him, but my God, if you're getting paid that kind of money, I think I'd stay somewhere too.
We
Yeah,
say
ain't gonna commend him, son. He is committed.
commitment.
Yeah, he was really, like you say, Chunk, he was really committed. I'm committed to the dollar signs.
Yeah,
Right.
that's right. Well, you know, if you think about it, I don't know the guy's name, and I guess it's bad I don't, but I know he was a great player. But I believe that Lane Kiffin wanted to go get the quarterback out of Washington. I just can't think of his name right off the top of my head. I could see him, but I can't think of his name. But he wanted to get the kid out of Washington. Washington said, "You ain't going." Washington stopped him from leaving. So he's up there still in Washington and having to play in a Washington uniform. But if I'm not mistaken, that's who Lane wanted, I think, more than Sam Levitt. Because Sam Levitt even went to Tennessee. Yeah, he was visiting Tennessee Volunteers. But then I think that Lane Kiffin even followed him to Knoxville to try to talk him into coming to LSU. So
Well,
he couldn't get these other players, huh?
how did Washington keep him there?
I think it was just some kind of commitment that he signed up for. That it was like you can't, like, a commitment he couldn't get out of, and it was legal things. So yeah, he ended up staying.
Well, going back to the first segment we had on this show, it almost seems like that's the way every college football, almost every college football team is going to have to go to that. Because my God, man, you had a Duke quarterback that had already committed and already been paid by the University of Duke, but he was still able to go to Miami. So if he had signed a contract maybe like that Washington quarterback, he might not have been able to go to Miami the way he did. So maybe that's the way every college team is going to have to go.
Yes, Damon Williams. I can't remember exactly why he has to stay, but there's something, I think, legally binding him where he had to stay. And so he couldn't get out of it. And he tried.
I'm thinking that every college football team maybe needs to put something in their contract the way Washington did.
There you go.
Maybe Kirby and everybody else is going to have to go to Washington and say, "Hey, what did you put in that kid's contract? Why couldn't he transfer?" because Duke couldn't keep their guy. Dabo Swinney at Clemson couldn't keep their guy from getting a phone call from Ole Miss's head coach and let him pluck that kid out of their program. So
yeah.
Well, imagine that though. Imagine though being in Damon Williams' shoes just a little bit. Think about this. About I'm leaving, I'm going. No, you're not. Now you're being held hostage.
Well, and they may pay for that. And Washington may pay for that. In my opinion, Washington may pay for that if that kid says, "Hey, okay, you want to keep me here? Well, I'm injured. My shoulder hurts. My throwing shoulder hurts. I'm going to sit the bench the entire season."
Yeah. We need a touchdown right here on this last 2-minute drive. Okay, interception.
Yeah. I mean, really, it's sad that it's coming to that, but man, that's what we're looking at.
You hope that don't happen, and maybe they figured something out, and it's all good in good terms. But it would be crazy, man, in a situation like that about being held hostage. Like Chuck said, ball and chain, that would be rough. But it's crazy. But I think overall, and I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the SEC, and I know these are our top 5 quarterbacks, but the SEC overall is in really good shape with quarterbacks this year. I can't really think of a team that doesn't have a good quarterback. You know what I mean? I think everybody's in good shape and is going to be really competitive. I mean, the SEC, like we talked about, going to these non-conference games every week, it seems like. But man, just thinking about that, it's just insane. We got to play each other, and we got to, play all these teams week after week after week, and it's going to be hard. But hey, if you can make it through with the gauntlet and you can get it to playoff, then hey, it's going to be whoever it's anybody's ball game at that point. It's a 1-game season, so I'm excited about it, though. But man, you guys, before we wrap up here tonight, you guys got anything about Tennessee, Georgia, and of course Alabama? But y'all got any spring intel you guys may want to share, or any spring thoughts about your teams that y'all heard about this upcoming week?
Well, I've been hearing a few things on the Tennessee side. Is our quarterback situation, man. They're already saying is, I watched several podcasts, and a lot of these podcasts are saying that Faison, Brandon, and McIntyre are pretty much even. So, that's pretty good, buddy, for a freshman to come in like that and to put up a battle to be even with the guy who had experience last year. I mean, that's pretty incredible there. And I'm hearing some good news on our recruitment trail. We're recruiting some good guys there. And, I mean, our defense too, man. Like I said, the only worry that I had for Tennessee is the quarterback situation there, but it seems like it's panning itself out, buddy. And we're going to get to see it. I mean, we'll see it at that orange and white game that's coming up Saturday. So,
yeah. And that kind of goes right along with what I had to say is Caden Prothro, which is a name that I had mentioned in an earlier podcast that we had. I've been hearing a lot of great things about him coming out of spring practice because that's a new face. That's a new face fresh out of high school, but that's a big name I keep hearing over and over and over. Keep your eyes on Caden Prothro. So I feel really good about that guy because we didn't have any position battles as far as quarterback or anything like that. We still got Gunnar Stockton back there, Nate Frazier, and it was just a guy in the receiver room that we utilize in the tight ends with Caden Prothro. I'd like to see him kind of utilize that spot a lot this coming season. And I've been hearing a lot of great things about him. Keep your eyes on that guy. So, and Georgia has just announced recently that their G-Day is going to be televised. So I don't know if I'm going to make it down to G-Day, but I will watch G-Day like the rest of us Georgia fans will watch G-Day on the ESPN Plus. So, but like Chunk said, we're going to make it up to that orange and white game and kind of see what Tennessee is putting on the field and kind of answer some questions for him in the quarterback position.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the biggest question Alabama's got. I mean, you guys know it is who's going to be the starting quarterback at University of Alabama. And I'm, you guys talking about what you guys are hearing. What I've heard out of camp is that both quarterbacks are there's no way they're going to decide anything in the spring. There's just no way. I've heard both quarterbacks getting good reps. Kale and DeBoer kind of came out and said that this past spring they didn't have maybe their best day. I'm sorry to bore you, Michael, but they said that they didn't have their best day. But I am looking forward. What got me excited the other day when that came out was Ryan Williams. I mean, I hope that guy has a big turnaround season. The other day he was showing some big clips of him catching them 50-50 balls and going downfield. I think Keelan Russell threw him a touchdown pass. And that was in our first scrimmage. Our second scrimmage was in Bryant-Denny. So, Kalen was talking about players that have never been in there. It's a little different. But, I'm excited to see what they're going to do. And the wide receiver room, I think Keelan this past game threw a touchdown to Lottie Brooks. And then Austin Mack threw one to Noah Rogers. He's a transfer coming out of NC State. I've heard a lot of good things about him. The offensive line, they keep plugging players in a little bit here and there. I know that Ryan Grubb loved our right tackle. Maybe left, I guess, replacing Caden Proctor. But, out there on the left side, Jackson Lloyd, he's going to be a starter on the offensive line. So we're just plugging and playing in the spring as you would. But I don't think the quarterback battle is going to be settled in the spring. I think it's going to go into fall camp. But just to hear that both quarterbacks are doing really good is really promising. I think whoever comes out game one, whether it's Austin Mack or Keelan, I'm hoping that's the right move. But like Kalen DeBoer says, and you hope this is the case for all of our teams. But that if you don't get that starting job, that you still keep pushing. Yeah. That you still keep, being right on that other guy's heels, make him better, keep pushing. Don't get relaxed. It's time to push even harder. Yeah. So you hope that whatever happens with that they continue to keep competing,
Yeah.
So that's offensively, I guess, what I've heard. Defense, I ain't too worried about it. Secondary, my gosh, we're gonna have a good secondary, boys. I mean, you got Xavier Brown, DeJohn Lee, Keon Sabb, Bray Hubbard. I mean, that's our starting four right there, man. And you got Red Morgan, Draker Patrick Jr. I mean, you got some studs out there in the secondary. I think our secondary is gonna be. I as a Bama fan, I don't know if it's homerism, like Michael said, but I'd say second to none this year. Our secondary. I'd say our secondary is going to be the piece of the Crimson Tide this year. So, but hey, man, what?
he thinks you're preaching over there.
Yeah, did you say amen?
Amen.
Hey, a little side note that you and we all need to maybe talk about is who, and I know we have a couple months till this comes out, but who's going to be on the cover of College Football 2027? I mean, who do y'all think is going to be on the cover of that? I'd like to see a Georgia guy on there. We had an Alabama guy on there just recently, so we need to get a Georgia guy on there. Maybe even a Tennessee guy, man. Alabama keeps getting these guys on there, and I don't know if there's a curse. There might be a curse to the cover of College Football 26 because Ryan Williams was on there and didn't pan out.
Jeremiah Smith, though.
Huh?
Yeah.
So was Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, he did pretty good.
I don't know. I mean, right now, I mean, you might say, my God, y'all need to get off his horse, but it's Trinidad. I mean, why would anybody else not be on there? You know?
Yeah, you're right. And he'll be the guy they're talking about winning the Heisman and stuff. He'll be what Arch Manning was a year ago today, when everybody was so high on Arch Manning. Everybody
say that name right there, man.
What?
How can you not? That would sell. Arch Manning.
It would sell, specifically in the state of Texas. I might keep the video game I got if they do that. But you're right, man. That's a name. That's a name that could be on the cover. But yeah, I think Trinidad's probably going to be in the role that Arch was a year ago, where everybody was talking about him being the Heisman front runner and stuff. Because, man, how could he not be? He's just an elite quarterback.
Yeah, that might be a segment for next week, man. Who is our? I mean, I guess you a little spoil there from Michael's part, but who is our dark horse for Heisman? You know, who is our look at the Heisman odds and see who we're thinking could win that trophy. You know, and of course next week we're going to talk about the orange and white game. I'm still battling going to Tuscaloosa because for some reason we ain't showing it.
Yeah,
I don't know what they got to hide.
Yeah, I don't understand that because, you know, Georgia, and we had talked about this. All three of us have talked about this in I mean, quite a bit. We've talked about this, but they're not going to open a transfer portal window after the spring game anymore. So for G-Day to be televised, which I think is a great thing because it lets Georgia fans kind of see what we got and see what we're going to put on the field, because my biggest question mark is still wide receiver and the receivers we're going to have out there. But I'm excited that they're showing G-Day, just televising it instead.
Yeah. Well, I think the biggest reason maybe Bama's not, I don't know about Tennessee, but Bama's not, is the next week they got Morgan Wallen that's going to play in Tuscaloosa, in Bryant-Denny. He's having a concert there. So they already talked about how some things are being set up. That's
the same thing with Georgia. In Sanford Stadium, they're going to have like Luke Bryant and all these other performers coming in for some big concert. So
yeah,
I don't know. The field may not look that good, but they're still going to have a spring game.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. I mean, I just hope out of spring that we all are feeling positive about our team. I hope nothing that we see or don't see this upcoming week, you know, and then the following week kind of gets us upset. But I think we're all going to be just fine this year. I mean, you hate to, you know, we all have ambitions right now, but at the end, like I think Michael talked about, I was going to bring it up earlier about all these coaches are fighting after a national title, competing. But at the end of the day, there's only one. Yeah. There's only one national title. So we all have the ambition right now. Hey, I want to go win the whole thing. I want to do it. But hey, just one other thing before we get ready to get out of here. But did you guys see? I know you guys ain't tied to Alabama, so you may not have. But did y'all see where Greg Burns talking about that he thinks, and that's our AD. For you guys don't know, Greg Burns talked about how he thinks that the SEC championship days that ship has sailed. That the SEC has his days numbered. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys agree, or just to talk about it?
Yeah.
Short and simple. Okay.
Well, I agree. I agree with it just because I feel like it doesn't really factor in to the college football playoff. And the main goal, and this is coming from a Georgia fan that Georgia, my team, has won back-to-back SEC championships. But guess who cares about that? Because they didn't make a very good run in the national championship or the playoffs. So for me, man, I feel like that is a game that we ought to just let that ship sail because it doesn't really mean as much as it used to. Before, if you won the SEC championship, you go straight to the national championship. Like I'd say 70%, 60% at least of Nick Saban's national championships come directly after the national or SEC championship. So you go straight to the BCS where it's just one versus number two. It's one versus number two. after the SEC championship. My God, if Kirby Smart had those odds, he may have 3 or 4 national championships by now. So I feel like that is a big factor.
Yeah.
Why play all these games? Why play the SEC championship game if it doesn't really do much for you? Alabama lost by 3 touchdowns a year ago and didn't drop a single spot. So
that's true.
Yep.
That's true. They got made it in, but I mean, I kind of had that same thought of like I think the time is really past for it, but at the same time, you hate to see it go. But there again, like Kirby said at the end of his press conference, you remember when they won, he's like, "This is what next year's going to be like, guys. This is 9 conference games. They're like half the teams didn't play. Jan Miller was out. Josh Cuevas was out.
Yeah.
I mean, we were on like our 4th string running back. I mean, it's just you can't. It's not there. You just can't sustain it. So now this year, guys, think about this. It wouldn't just be 9 conference games they'd play. You go play the SEC championship. You're playing the 10th. Yeah. And then think about this. If you did what Bama and Oklahoma did, that's your 11th SEC conference game. So,
yeah, that's insane.
Man.
Yeah, so if you play in a first-round game and you're the loser of that game, you go play in the first round against another SEC opponent, that's your 11th conference game. And so that would be wild. Yeah. So, you just hope that don't happen. But, I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, I don't think there's anything you can do to say it's going to stop it. I just think it's a matter of time. Do we get 1 or 2 more years out of it? What do you think, Chunk? Not short and simple, yes. What do you think?
No. I mean, I've got to agree with him, buddy. I think it's coming. It's coming to a peak. It's like Michael said. Just to sum it short and sweet. I agree. I mean, it's a gauntlet. Like you're just killing yourself. The SEC's killing themselves playing. Like you said, like 2 or 3 times back to back. I mean, come on, man. That's a lot. That's a lot of work right there, man.
Yeah.
But I couldn't agree with him more, buddy. I think I don't know how soon, but I think it will come to a head that will go away. So.
Yeah, that's right, man. Well, it's been a great show, guys. I did want to say thank you guys again. And like I say, this is our 6th episode. Planning to go live starting in May. So y'all be looking forward to that. We just got a busy April, with games and spring games and things like that going on. So we'll get past this month. And next month in May, on May 3rd, we're going to start going live. And hopefully by then, if you guys are up the challenge again, I'll repeat it. We get 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, 1,000 subscribers on Facebook, and 1,000 subscribers on TikTok. Chunk is going to shave his head. We're hoping his beard, but at least the head.
Show him, Michael.
Yeah, it's going to look like this.
Yeah.
That's 30 subscribers.
Yeah. So, like I said, I sold out cheap, but chunks.
For 1,000, Chunk. For 1,000, Chunk, you got to do the head and the beard.
You talk about 100,000. What is Adam going to do? 100,000.
There we
go. Eyebrows and all at 100,000, Adam.
Yeah.
So
I'll do it. I'd do it for 100,000. Yeah.
You guys, and like I say, we talk college football, we talk our teams, and we think we know what we're talking about. Maybe you guys don't think we do, but Adam and I's college or our flag football team is 1-0, and we're coaching kindergarten and 1st grade kids out there, some pre-K kids. So, and we're 1-0, so we know what we're talking about. So come out there and watch us if you don't think.
Yeah, and let me just tell you. Yeah, let me just tell you how it goes. You ready? Run left, run right.
That's right, and it works. It works.
It works, man. It works. So, and then on defense, he's the defensive guy. He just says, "Go get the flag."
Yeah, watch the ball and go to wherever the ball's going.
Yeah, go to where the ball's going. That's right. That's right. But man, like I said, I hope everybody out there today, and this being Sunday. Hope everybody had a great Easter and a happy Resurrection Sunday. And we love you guys out there that, watch us and share our content. Thank you guys so much. We're growing at a very rapid pace. It's just we thought we'd do something kind of fun to speed up the process a little bit. I know Lily, Chunk's wife, may not like it as much, but I'll love it. I think it'll be hilarious. So hit this like button, share it, get it out there, and let's shave Chunk's head. Let's shave Chunk's head. So, but if you guys are ready to end it, man, we went for a while. So If you guys ready, we're going to end like we always do. And we'll say tailgate on me. And we'll say tailgate on 3. You guys ready? Ready? You sure,
Yeah.
Chunk?
Yeah.
Don't freeze up this time.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's do it.
1, 2, 3. Tailgate.
Tailgate.